Honorable Suhuyini Alhassan.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion moved by the Finance Minister calling on this House to approve government's expenditure projections for the year 2022 on behalf of His Excellency the President. The Speaker, before I launch into the lands and forestry sector, I just wish to make some preliminary comments. The Speaker, on page 93 of this budget statement, paragraph 374, I see being proposed, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, the expansion of digital financial platforms, including mobile money and its interoperability with the banking system has increased financial inclusion. Government is in the process of digitizing the health records of Ghanaians and creating a national digital platform for the sale of pharmaceutical products to improve health care delivery. Mr. Speaker, I hope this will not compromise medical privacy. It is my hope that it will not compromise patients' privacy, since improper disclosure of patients' information can affect the individual dignity and risk creating confidentiality issues. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I also will want to refer to page 109, paragraph 477 of the budget statement, where, Mr. Speaker, it is suggested that the government is considering the adoption of e-mobility to promote sustainable intracity transport services as one of the priority mitigation actions in Ghana's national determined contribution. Mr. Speaker, whilst I wish to commend the Minister for devoting some pages to the recently held COP26, where it must also be stated that government delegation was considered bloated, I just want to caution that this dream, Mr. Speaker, this dream takes into consideration the erratic power situation that we have and does not lead to it also becoming a wet dream, just like we have witnessed in the case of sky trains that were promised before. Mr. Speaker, I think that our country is not, even as we want to contribute to the limitation of emissions across the world, we are not there yet, where we will be considering e-mobility for public transport system. Just like it has come belatedly to government that the promise of sky trains was not well thought through, I hope this will not also experience that same fate. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the projections under lands and forestry sector, I am not surprised that the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, when he had his time, could not actually make a comment on the sector. Because, Mr. Speaker, despite all the boast that you see on pages 148 in relation to how well the government has performed under the forestry sector, it is clear and sad, Mr. Speaker, that according to Global Forest Watch, in 2020, Ghana lost 136,000 hectares of natural forest. Mr. Speaker, it was estimated that that was a 60% increase in Ghana's primary rainforest loss in 2018 alone, compared to 2017. Mr. Speaker, this actually earned Ghana a spot in one of the world's largest, most experienced independent conservation organizations, known as the World Wildlife Fund 2020 list of countries that is fast experiencing deforestation. Mr. Speaker, coupled with this, an enviable record is the government's inability to make money available for the intervention it touts as a remarkable intervention. As I speak, Mr. Speaker, over 3,500 of the youth who were employed under the Youth in Afforestation program have not been paid for several months now and do not know when they will be paid. The Speaker, just as it was stated by the ranking member, the provision that has been made to take care of this youth is not adequate to even settle the arrears that they are currently owed, let alone the projections that are made into 2022. Mr. Speaker, I do not see any comprehensive measures that are being taken in this document, Mr. Speaker, to address the issues of deforestation beyond what we have been doing in the last 4 years, as I've indicated, has only led to a situation where we are getting into the list of countries experiencing fast deforestation across the world. Mr. Speaker, the talk of Green Ghana, where an estimated number of 7 million trees were planted, is considered to be replicated next year. And the projection is that we may see 20 million trees being planted, without any reference to the fate of the about 7 million trees that were planted this year and how those are going to be managed to impact the environment in any way. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I want to look at the land sector, where it is said that, Mr. Speaker, you can now do searches and get your results in 14 days. And that is the boast in this budget statement, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that was not what the people of Ghana were promised. The need to get the turnaround time reduced has been work in progress, and many governments in the past have contributed to ensuring that the turnaround time for registering parcels of land in this country is reduced. Mr. Speaker, this government was ambitious and promised to ensure that they do that within 30 days. Searches are a very small component of the whole registration exercise. And just as it has already been demonstrated, the 14 days that is even spoken of is limited to people living in the capital city of Accra. Mr. Speaker, it is very crucial that we get this turnaround time reduced, because it helps in the process of getting, assurance about what to do with land once it is procured. It also prevents double sale of land, which creates a lot of problems in our communities. Mr. Speaker, again, it does not facilitate investment in this country, because a lot of investors have come into this country and have not been able to put the investments that they came with into fruition because of the issues of land ownership in this country. And that is why this is important. Mr. Speaker, the previous government started the CSUs across the country, left it at 5 centers in the country. It has remained so since this government came into power. That is the client service units. And the client service units were to fast track the process of registering land parcels in this country. I do know that the current leadership at the Lands Commission is aiming at further decentralizing. I hope they do. But, Mr. Speaker, the approach which this government is using, that is also going to ensure that that they claim is going to ensure that more revenue is raised to support the activities of the Lands Commission, is the wrong approach. The Speaker, the proposal to increase government fees and charges by 15% is going to further make it more difficult for people to register their lands and go through the process of registering their lands, because even the World Bank has captured this in their 2017 Equal Opportunities for All report, where it talks about how the process of getting land registered is hampered by costs, and how the turnaround time also contributes to Ghana being a very difficult place to do business. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I think that 15% across board will affect the fees and charges that will be instituted at the Lands Commission and affect the registration processes. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I just want to say that what the Lands Commission will need at this stage is for government to increase the opportunity for them to retain their internally generated funds. Currently, they are only allowed to retain 33% of the internally generated funds. And government does not need to increase these fees and charges. All they can do is to stop capping and keeping all the money at the top and misapplying them, and allow these institutions to utilize the revenue they are already generating by just increasing the internally generated funds that they are supposed to keep from 33% to about 50 or 60%. And I'm sure it will be enough to help the Commission to expand the client service units and to further decentralize their offices to the local level, where people can have easy access to registering their lands. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I want to thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement, and hope that government will look at how to maximize the internally generated funds of these institutions instead of slapping a 15% across-board increment on fees and charges. I thank you for indulging me.
Honorable Charles.